Hey everyone, this is Mark Cunningham, and we are back with our 4th episode of Over-Caffeinated. So we've had the Governor Haslam on, but I'm actually most excited about our guest today. So who we have is John Rich. If you're not familiar with him, you have about 10,000 top 10 hits. Is that about right?
I had a few, and I'm about 10,000, but a lot.
So So he's a successful songwriter, singer, entrepreneur, bar owner, whiskey owner. I mean, there's nothing that this guy cannot do. And also the winner of Celebrity Apprentice.
Yes, yeah, that was a tough deal.
And he's got a personal relationship with President Trump now, so that's cool a cool thing. Unfortunately, Justin, your intro is not as cool. This is our CEO, Justin Owen. Yes. So if you don't know John Rich, I'm sure you do, but he's from Big and Rich, from Lone Star. He has a lot of great solo songs, and I'm gonna be the first one to tell you, I'm the last person with an iPod on the number one song on my whole list.
Okay.
On my whole list is Another You. One of the best songs I've ever heard. I know. I looked up I don't know why it didn't chart better. I think it should be number one.
I can tell you why it didn't. The song was doing well, and then the bailouts happened.
And they shut Detroit down.
And I was watching the news, and I saw the bosses that were laying everybody off were cashing in their bonus checks and leaving Detroit. And I wrote, in the real world, they're shutting Detroit down. And I just did a demo of the song. It wound up at a radio station, and next thing you know, that song was passing Another You on the chart. I went, what is, the label calls and goes, how is this song even on the radio? I said, I have no idea. So that, and Detroit wound up being a top 10 hit. Wow. So but I'm glad you like that song.
Yeah, and Rand Paul ran it to introduce its campaign, right, in 2016.
A lot of people have used it.
Yeah, it's a great song, but I'm more of Another You guy. I think that's like one of the best songs ever. If you could ever download that, Another You, one of the most heartbreaking, just great songs.
It's good because he typically listens to Nickelback.
I did defend Nickelback. I defended Nickelback.
I'm friends with Chad.
Oh, there we go. Oh, another Nickelback fan.
Chad's house in Canada. He's got a whole hockey rink under his house, like in the ground, underneath the ground.
Makes me like them even more. I defended them on this show. I kind of do a rant each week. I defended Nickelback and all the haters. I'm done with them.
He's pretty talented.
He is. So what we're going to do is, normally it's Over-Caffeinated, so we try a different type of coffee and we kind of review it and see what we like. You can see we're in a different place today. So we are at Redneck Riviera, which is John's Bar on Broadway. It's 208 Broadway, is that right?
Yeah, it's right at 3rd and Broad. So if you come down to Broadway at Lower Broad, we're right here on the street. You see that red, white, and blue star turning around? That's Redneck Riviera.
The patriotic star. Now that
beacon to whiskey.
That's right. Yeah. Now that Paradise Park's gone, this is my new favorite bar on Broadway.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, it's a great bar, and they have great live music all the time. And now, tell me this too. You have a kind of, your face is outside, and when it lights up, that means you're in the building. Is that how that works?
Yeah. So there's a neon. It's like the mustache and the hat, and when they turn that on, it says JR is in the house, which means I'm down here playing. And I do love to come down here and just kind of pop in on the crowds, you know, and people look at me and they go, man, you look just like him. I go, I know, right? I said, you sound like him too. I go, yeah, well, it might be me. And then, you know, I've always thought Lower Broad is the pulse of country music. It truly is. And, you know, from the Ryman Auditorium kicking off the, you know, real country music back in the day till now, this is still where artists come to town to cut their teeth, get their chops tight. This is where they pitch to the record labels. This is where a lot of people launch, including guys like myself.
Well, it's great. So if you come down here, you might be able to see John Rich and that wonderful mustache. So let's talk about your whiskey. We're going to try it first, but I want to kind of ask you about it. So you have 2 different types of whiskey. The new one is the Granny Rich Reserve, which was about 2 weeks ago that was released. Is that right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm interested, first of all, what made you want to get into whiskey, and tell me the difference between these 2 flavors too. So let's talk first about your story.
Well, so Redneck Riviera is a phrase that's been around a long time. The earliest I can find it was about 1961. And it was what people would say when they couldn't afford to go to the French Riviera, they would go to where? The Redneck Riviera. It's basically the Gulf Coast originally is what they were talking about, because the beaches are beautiful, the food's great, the people are fun, and you can afford to go there. It's like the blue collar Riviera. Well, over time, that phrase has really kind of grown way outside of the Gulf, and it's kind of a state of mind of lifestyle. I call it the work hard, play hard crowd of America. Is the Redneck Riviera. And about 11 years ago now, I checked on the trademark to see who owned the phrase, and nobody had ever trademarked the phrase Redneck Riviera. And so now multi-generations use that phrase. You know, oh yeah, we were at the Redneck Riviera, or we're going to the Redneck Riviera. It's become a big thing. I was able to trademark it. We started with boots and apparel. That went really well. And then the next thing was, man, I sure would like to have a place called Redneck Riviera on Broadway, which is where we're sitting right now. This was years ago. As we're building out the bar, I was at a Big and Rich show with Big Kenny, and, you know, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy says, buy the bar a double round of Crown, and everybody's getting down. It's talking about Crown Royal. it's always been our go-to whiskey, which is Canadian blended whiskey. And I got to thinking, I wonder if there's such a thing as American blended whiskey. So I went to a couple of liquor stores and said, show me your American blended whiskey. And the guy goes, we don't have anything called that. And I went, really? He goes, not that I know of. And I went, wow, nobody's ever really gone after that. So that's when the light bulb went off.
Oh, there you go.
And I said, I'm going to see if I can create an American blended whiskey that's the smoothest thing on the shelf. And even the glass it's bottled in is made in America. The glass is made in Ohio.
Wow.
The corks are made in the United States. All the whiskey is sourced from the United States. We put it together. Granny Rich was the final taste tester on this bottle here, the original bottle, in late 2017. Launched it in early 2018, and we are now approaching, well, we now have passed over 20,000 cases shipped since the first case 13 months ago, now 44 states.
That's unbelievable.
So people have really latched onto it. It's back to the phrase Redneck Riviera, you can afford to go there. Even though this whiskey is that smooth, it's winning awards, gold medals left and right, it's under 25 bucks.
Can't beat
which
that.
goes back to work hard, play hard, right? Just because it's really premium whiskey shouldn't mean you can't
afford it,
or you can't drink it, right? Because I can't afford it. So that's really attached to a lot of people out there, and really gained a lot of traction. And Folds of Honor, of course, I know you know about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
10% of the profits of every single bottle go back to the Folds of Honor. They put kids through college who lost a parent in combat, or a spouse who lost a spouse. This whiskey last year paid for 43 college scholarships.
Unbelievable.
For the Folds of Honor.
Unbelievable. So folks, Canada's good for whiskey and I guess Nickelback, and that's about it. Everything else in Canada is bad. But tell me about this. So what's the difference this was the initial one. What's different about the Granny Rich one as opposed to the initial Redneck Riviera one?
So, like I said, Granny Rich is in Ashland City, Tennessee. She still runs her own business 40 hours a week. She's now 87 years old. She smokes a half a pack of Marlboro Reds every day, and when she gets home from work, she takes off her shoes, watches the Hallmark Channel, and sips a little whiskey. That's what she does. Well, apparently we all should be doing that. And so she loved this whiskey so much, I said, if we were ever going to do a reserve version of that, like something, what's the next notch up above that, which was actually pretty hard to do, it would probably be a more aged version. So I worked with the same master distiller, and what we came up with was this whiskey, but more aged. And if you read the back of the bottle, it says it's a little more aged and a little stronger, just like Granny. This is 80 proof. This is 86 proof because she was 86 when I developed this whiskey.
Wow.
So now we've got Granny enshrined on the back of the bottle. It talks about Granny. There's the Folds of Honor display there, and of course her signature on the bottom. And we now have 10 states that just stocked this in the past week.
Wow.
So Granny got her first royalty check on her birthday.
Oh, good.
Right in this room on Valentine's Day. She got her first royalty check up on the stage.
You should up the proof every year.
Oh God, just make it stronger.
Let's get it up to 110. That's 75.
And it's a great logo too. I mean, I think the design's awesome on it. And I saw your Granny too. She's hilarious. I watched her a little. They had it on Channel 5, and I mean, it's funny that she's so into this.
Remember the Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies? Granny Clank.
I think I'm too young for that. Yeah, he's older.
She'd wave at you like that. She's just wiry little woman that's just working. That's Granny Rich,
awesome.
But she's such a positive attitude. She believes in hard work. She believes as long as you can work, you should be working. She doesn't work to get rich. She works because she can, and she wants to be productive as long as she's on this earth, as long as she can.
Salt of the earth right there.
And then when she's through working, she wants to go have fun.
That's awesome.
And those two things together, I think, really is what America's all about. That's why the bottle says, work hard, play hard.
Absolutely, that's great. So without further ado, we're going to take a sip of this. If I throw up, it's because I hate whiskey, not because I'm going to drink it anyway. I'm a beer guy, I know.
No, if you throw up, it's because you're a sissy.
Yeah, I'm a sissy, that's right. It's my college memories coming back. That's the reason I throw up. But this looks great. So we're going to try it here, and then Justin, this is the big Justin.
I want you to smell it. So one of the things I really worked hard on was the back and the nose. So it's got this caramel back. There's no flavoring in it. It's what the whiskeys are doing. Gives it that nose and that back, like a little butterscotch caramel back.
It does got a little
Sounds good.
Hey,
cheers.
Here's to you guys.
Yes.
Here's to Granny. God bless.
That's good. No, it's smooth for
caramel on the back.
I do.
Roof of your mouth, top of your tongue.
It's good. Yes, sure.
Should we call Granny and let her give you a drink?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Way more manly than me, I probably. Yeah, that was.
But a lot of people that don't drink whiskey actually are drinking mine.
I mean, that's edible. I could drink that.
And that was just straight. If you put it on ice or you put a splash of anything in it, you're like, wow, this is great.
That'd be a good sipping whiskey.
But for real whiskey aficionados, like I said, this whiskey won the gold medal in the Los Angeles Whiskey Expo.
Wow.
A blind taste test. It was up against 300 other whiskeys, and it came in #1.
And you get it for under $25. That's amazing. Anybody, I mean, even people don't like whiskey. Like, I would drink a full thing of that. I mean, you don't have to pay me, but I would do it. No.
I mean, to that point, my distiller said, John, this whiskey is winning awards. This whiskey is so good. We could probably get $60 a bottle for it.
Yeah,
And I said, guys, where I come from, which was a double wide trailer in Texas, I said, people don't have $60 to spend on a bottle of anything. I said, we're going to put the good stuff down where people can afford to drink the good stuff. The working class of this country, they are the royalty as far as I'm concerned.
That's a great way to think about it. So speaking of the working class people, we're getting into some policy now. And something that really seems to hurt the working class people is this Green New Deal, New Green Deal, whatever it is.
Best idea ever.
Yeah. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's idea, which would basically get rid of air travel, farting cows,
the military.
The military, and every single building would be energy efficient in 10 years, which I think everyone's going to die in 12 years, she said, because of global warming. So I'm not sure why that matters.
So there's a 2-year window.
We'll enjoy ourselves.
Yes.
So I'm going to start with you, John. Obviously, you're political. You pay attention to this stuff. I saw you tweeted about it. I mean, what are your thoughts about this? And is it kind of scary that so many of the Democratic candidates for president are getting behind this plan?
I think that a lot of the sensible Democrats are scared to death of what she's talking about because they all know that's crazy talk. I mean, to think that you can do away with all combustion engines in the next 10 years, 30 years, 40, I mean, what about our military? Let's just start with the military. What are you going to do about that? I think it shows a real naivety on her part that she probably didn't think this through before she put that down on paper. It's one thing to sit in a bar maybe and discuss some crazy notion like that and then think it through. I don't think she thought it through.
It took a lot of whiskey to come up with some of those ideas.
I can drink both of these bottles and not come up with something as crazy as that. I have seen a lot of the Democrats. Feinstein is a prime example. Dianne Feinstein's been in the Senate almost 40 years, and she said, everything that's impossible, you can't do that. And they don't like the answer, you can't do that, but it's at some point I think you're going to see that come to a head as well.
I think even Speaker Pelosi kind of patted her on the head and was like,
oh yeah, and Mitch McConnell, he wanted to bring it up for a vote because he knew that it would be something around their neck. Like, we're going to hang this on them for the election. So what are your thoughts about it, Justin? I mean, do you think it's...
I mean, nobody likes cow farts, so do our best.
That's
to
true.
Get rid
well,
of
in
it.
Texas, that smells like money.
There you go. I do like money.
Depends on how you view it.
I mean, it's a pipe dream for anybody to even think that we could get there from a practical standpoint economically, and even want to. I mean, why do we want to get rid of air travel? It's one of the greatest inventions in the history of the world that allows us to travel and see the world. And should we be more fuel efficient? Yeah, and if the economy dictates that, then let's move forward with that. But it's not going to be by government mandate. It's not going to be by politicians telling us how we can and cannot live our lives. I guarantee you AOC will never stop flying, no matter what restrictions she puts on us, just like a lot of people on the left. We saw this with Al Gore. They want to tell us how to live our lives while they jet set around the world and live the same lives they already live.
I saw Bernie Sanders did like $100,000 worth of air travel for the Clinton campaign while fighting for it.
In the summer in Tennessee when it gets so hot and humid, all you got to do is go over by Al Gore's house and stand by the electric box where NES is spinning. the breeze coming off of it to cool you down. I mean, they like to put all this stuff out, but they don't ever intend on applying it to themselves.
Sure.
And I think that's the hypocrisy of it and why none of us take that seriously.
So 0 for 3. None of us like the new green New Deal. It is fun to make fun of. I mean,
we all want to help those people who are unwilling to work.
That's right. I'm willing to work. That's it.
That was a big debate when I said that on Twitter. They said, that's not what it says. I said, it does say that, and then very quickly they went back and took that part out and it said people are unable to work. But again, they didn't think it through before they put it out. Having that job, being in Congress, that is a really, really important job. I think you should know what you're talking about before you speak, and if you don't know what you're talking about, don't speak. You know what I mean? Listen more and learn about what you're talking about.
Well, and if these people can't get a press release right, I'm pretty sure they can't run our entire economy. You know?
And here's the thing. So we have a whiskey for the working man. Do we have a whiskey for the unwilling to work man? Can we do one of those?
No, we don't.
No, we're not going to do that for that.
Granny Rich, if you ask, here's an 87-year-old woman who owns her own business, runs it by herself, makes sure that every week she logs that 40 hours. I mean, that's important to her to get the 40 hours in every week. If you ask her about people that are unwilling to work, I mean, the words that come out of her mouth, I can't say right now in this interview. She's disgusted by it, and she honestly says, when she was growing up, World War II was going on. All the kids that were going to school would help with the war effort by collecting scrap iron, metal, aluminum, whatever they could get their hands on, dragging it to school in big piles. Then the trucks would come by and pick it up and haul it off to melt it down to build tanks, airplanes, bullets, rifles, helmets, whatever we needed. And she said that's back when America, literally from every child to the old people, were all pulling in the same direction. That's why we call them the greatest generation. She's disappointed to see a lot of folks in our country had the attitude of unwilling to work or wants the government to give them things. She says if you need $1, go figure out a way to earn it.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to have role models like her, because I mean, I think a lot of people need to see that.
That's why she's on that bottle. I couldn't think of a better person.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. So kind of shifting our focus here to entrepreneurship. I mean, you're just as successful in terms of your entrepreneurship as you are your music. I mean, you have been unbelievably successful with bars, whiskey. Again, you won Donald Trump's show. So talk about, so you live in the state of Tennessee, which is considered to be a pretty good state compared to other ones in terms of less regulation, better to run a business. So I'm interested as a business owner, what are things that you like about kind of living here and owning a business here, and what are some things that you would like to see change? Is there any laws that you feel like, hey, you need to kind of let business people do what they do?
I think having no state income tax is a huge thing, obviously. That's why you see so many businesses moving here and opening up shop in Tennessee. I think that the people of Tennessee, for the most part, are basically what's on this bottle, work hard, play hard crowd, One thing I like about Nashville, it's a big town, but you see people on the street and they say, well, how you doing? You don't even know who they are. It's not just out on the country roads. It seems like in Nashville it's that way too. I like the way that most of the politicians in Tennessee will stand up for what the majority of the state wants. They don't come out with things that are against the majority of what we think. You know what I mean? There's a guy named Zach Wamp that I liked a whole lot. I like Zach because he reminded me of, 1814, we took a little trip along the Mississippi. He reminds me of one of those guys that probably would have been the first one on the horse heading down to New Orleans to go fight the British in the Gulf of Mexico. That attitude is still alive and well in Tennessee. I'm a Texan and I'm both. I'm like in the middle of both states, so there's a lot of pride and a lot of similarities. I mean, Tennessee.
But for Tennessee, there would be no Texas.
That's right. Tennessee bailed Texas out. So I love the attitude in this state.
That's great. So you're Texas-ian. Can we use that?
Yeah. Why not?
So Justin, let's talk from your perspective. I mean, obviously Bill Lee, the new governor, has been pretty good on this when he's talked about this. What do you think are some things that we could improve on? Obviously, we have a great business climate compared to other states. Are there things that we can get better at in order to make it even better for business owners?
Yeah, I think the income tax is big, having no income tax, and getting rid of the whole income tax, which when we first started looking at it, just said it's bad to punish successful people and retirees for saving for their futures. But then we found a lot of entrepreneurs going, hey, I can't find investors, I'm having a hard time growing my business because of the Hall tax, so getting rid of that when that finally goes away entirely will be good. I do think we still have some high corporate taxes. Corporations don't pay taxes, they pass those things on. And so ultimately the people wind up paying that anyway. Let's lower those taxes across the board and be more friendly there. I think some of the occupational licensing stuff that we've dealt with, where we have had clients who had a board tell them, you got to go back to school for 5 years before you can start your business. That's just a bunch of bureaucracy that we don't need. And these are the types of people who come up with great ideas to solve our problems. And so we need the government to get out of their way and stop over-regulating them to the point where, especially in the technology industry, you tell someone that they can't start their business for a year, that's an eternity. And so stopping some of that stuff, I think, is important.
Yeah, the bigger Nashville gets and the more business that comes into Nashville, along with that is going to come corruption of city council members and people within the city. And I've experienced, without naming names, people that have been corrupted by some of the big industries that are coming into town right now. And guess who takes the brunt of that? Neighborhoods. Neighborhoods are taking a beating a lot around Nashville over some of that too. So, as it gets bigger, it's good. Our traffic's getting a little out of hand. But overall, I like the way Nashville's going right now.
And as much as we're saying great things about Tennessee politicians, Nashville politicians, not so much. We've had we sued the city council a couple times and have won, so that's great. Yeah. But there's still some room. But again, Tennessee's a great place to live and have a business. So we're going to turn to a little bit more of a fun topic here. I saw yesterday that there's a brewery in Virginia that's doing a Lucky Charms flavored beer. Have you seen this?
Yes, I did see that.
Which seems delicious. So I'm going to ask each of you.
That seems delicious to you.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, I know. My taste in beer is...
Okay, so you the kid that would eat the Lucky Charms and then you would drink all the milk?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I get the Lucky Charms without any. You can just get the ones with the marshmallows now on Amazon, which is just wonderful. Yeah, I have the power of a 12-year-old. I know. I have the power of a 12-year-old. So let's talk about this though. So if you could pick one cereal from your childhood to make a beer out of, what flavor would you pick? So if you're kind of starting over, you're like, I'm gonna do a beer here of this thing I loved as a child. What is your choice?
Probably corn flakes, so we get a little corn liquor going.
Oh, there you go. Corn syrup. Yeah, there you go. Corn flakes sounds good.
Right?
Yeah, because I'm kind of the same way. I don't like sweet beers. I'm an IPA guy when it comes to beer. But in terms of my favorite growing up, it would be Fruity Pebbles. I think even a Fruity Pebble flavored beer would be pretty good.
That sounds wonderful. And we talked earlier about, me and Taylor talked about Cinnamon Toast Crunch would be probably next.
Or if you want to have a healthy beer, Raisin Bran beer.
There you go. For all the vegans out there.
A lot
Perfect.
of problems at once.
There you go. There you go. Lower your cholesterol, drink some beer.
More fiber in your beer.
There you go. That's all you need. So we're going to skip the what's bugging you part for this week. I was going to complain about Nashville's traffic as we talked about how people drive terribly in the rain, either 20 miles per hour over or like a 95-year-old woman on a scooter.
It's been every day.
I know. It's been tough. It's been tough. But we're going to go to a really fun game now, which is new because we have a music artist. We've mostly had politicians on so far. Is we're going to do a music trivia game. So this is how it's going to work. We have 3 categories: country, 90s pop, and 80s hair bands. So what we're going to do is each one we're going to give you the lyrics of a song. You need to complete the next lyric.
Oh boy.
Okay, and we have a score. We have a scorecard over there.
I know you can tell that I'm great at the hairband stuff.
Yeah, you seem like a hairband guy. You had a ponytail, right? In the 80s. Oh yeah.
It's down my shirt.
That's right. It's in the hat. You're hiding it.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with country. So you got to do the rest of the lyric and then the artist if you know it. So we're going to start with Justin actually on this one.
Another shot.
Yeah, you might. Okay.
Yeah, we'll hook you up.
So you ready? I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere. Time don't matter to me because I'm 1,000 miles from nowhere.
Well, there's a wheat fields as far as I can see part there, but I don't think.
You got 5 seconds. We can't keep.
Because there's no place I'd rather be.
Bingo.
And there's no. Yep. And can you get the singer?
That would be Dwight Yoakam.
Oh, there we go. 2 for Justin.
So you get 2 points.
Yeah. You got 1 and 1. Okay, so here we go on this one.
Boy.
Well, it's 2 hearts and 1 dream. I wouldn't change it for anything. And I ask the Lord every night. This is your buddy. I know you wrote a song with him.
Man, you're making him look bad.
Oh man, this is your friend.
Man, if it's my friend.
It's your friend. Yeah, I know you wrote a song together because I was at his concert. You talked about it. I Wish You Were Beer is the song you guys wrote together.
Anything alone every night. There's another day in paradise, Phil Bassett.
There you go, Phil Bassett. Just
that was tough.
Yeah, you pulled that one out at the end there.
The first time Phil Bassett
Makes me feel better there.
First time Phil walked out on the Grand Ole Opry, Jimmy Dickens said, "Welcome to the Grand Ole Opry, Sylvester." That's a true story.
That's awesome.
Phil told me that.
Well, yeah, I think we're gonna actually have him on here at some point. We talked to his people, so next couple months.
I love Phil.
You gotta shame him into coming on.
Yeah. So let's talk about some 90s pop now. So John, we're gonna start with you. Ready?
Oh, boy.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic that Ricky got it.
Katy Perry.
Oh no, not Katy Perry.
It's not Katy Perry?
You got the artist wrong.
Oh crap.
Yeah, she's like, it's
it's
fantastic.
Aqua. But he gets 1 point on that. He got the lyric there.
No, it's Katy Perry.
Okay, well, I trust him.
Mind,
hey, he has a lot more money than me, so I'll trust what he says.
With you, no matter what song I hear by a female, it's Katy Perry.
It's Katy Perry. That makes sense. Well, that's impressive. I didn't think you were going to get that one. It's a tough one. Okay, Justin, ready? It's tearing up my heart when I'm with you, but when we are apart, I feel it too. And no matter what I do, I feel the pain.
I really have no idea.
I can sing part of that, but I don't. Staring up my heart when I'm with you.
Yeah, he knows it. Well, he got the.
Say the lyrics one more time.
I'm tearing up my heart when I'm with you.
Look him in the eye when you say it.
I'm sorry.
Want you guys to connect.
But when we are apart, I feel it too.
He feels it too.
And no matter what I do,
I
feel the pain.
He's hurting.
Nothing.
No.
With or without you. Can you get the artist?
It's either NSYNC or Backstreet Boys.
I need a guess. It's not either or. Pick one.
NSYNC.
That's right. 3-3. Uh-oh. So now we're down to the final category, the hairband category. And
I'm proud that I don't know that.
Yeah.
I could feel that connection.
I know. Yeah. Very romantic. Yeah. The boss. Yeah. It's a great connection.
Song about
Yeah. So here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. This is you, Justin.
This is me. Okay.
Yes. That's it. You got to finish the rest. This is a tough one.
Say it again.
Here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known.
Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone.
Oh, we got it! And this artist. Yeah, 5 seconds.
I'm blanking right now.
Okay. God. It is Whitesnake is the artist.
Whitesnake.
So here, so it's coming down here. If you get both these right, you're the winner here. You're down by 1. You have a chance here.
Okay.
Every rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn. Cut off.
Just like every cowboy sings a sad, sad song.
Oh, man.
Every rose has its thorn.
That was excellent. And who's the artist? Can you win right now?
Poison.
There we go. We got a victory.
Yeah,
let's see the scorecard. Put it up. Rich 5, 0-4. How about that?
And he was on Celebrity Apprentice too.
Yeah, he was. There you go. That's right. Yeah. And also Rock of Love is also excellent. Have you ever seen that? Yes. Those girls are super classy.
Kind of like mulligan for me.
No, you did well though. So we're gonna finish up here.
That's pretty good.
We're almost done. We're gonna ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
And the first
Are you guys having fun, by the way? I just hope you're having fun.
Yeah, we have a bunch of people back here. You can't see them. And to be clear, his bar is usually crowded. We're just here. We got his private room. There's a lot of people downstairs. We saw them.
It's packed.
So you've been pretty vocal about politics, and you're not really afraid to back down on your beliefs here, which is great. And it seems like 95% of the celebrities who speak out are kind of on the other side of you. So what's kind of giving you what's motivated you to get involved in politics and kind of say what you believe in a way that might not be popular with your peers?
I think what makes America great is debate. And so, a lot of my peers that disagree with my position, I disagree with their position. The good thing about that is that we're actually friends. We play shows together, we hang out together, have for years, known each other a long time. I think, our fan bases also they have differing opinions too. So I think it's good for America when you can see maybe an act like Big and Rich, who we don't agree on everything either. And sometimes we're getting some pretty long, drawn out debates and arguments about topics that are going on. But then when we're through with all that, we'll have a cocktail, have a little Redneck Riviera whiskey, go on stage and do a 90-minute show and harmonize together. And I think there's something really powerful about that. I think that's really what truly makes America great, is finding harmony with the opposing side. What I don't like seeing in politics is somebody disagrees with you, so they get demonized. They're now a evil person, a bad person, because they disagree. Because they disagree with your opinion, and also don't like it when freedom of speech ends when I disagree with you.
Absolutely.
I don't like that either. So for me, I'll voice my opinion because I think it's a healthy thing to do, and I never discount anybody else's opinion. You always got to remember, they think what they think for a damn good reason as far as they're concerned. However they grew up, whatever they've been taught, there's a reason why they feel that way. They didn't just snatch it out of the air. Well, same goes for me. So when you sit down with really serious-minded people and you disagree with them, that's where we can find some connective tissue, I think. And that's why I think it's important to continue speaking about these subjects.
And you should be able to argue, be friends afterwards, right? I mean, that's the thing. That's something we're losing in this country, it feels like right now.
I just watched Elijah Cummings on this Michael Cohen thing today defend a Republican that a really nasty thing was said to him, and Mr. Cummings went, "Now hang on a minute, that's too far," and he made him back up and said, "I'm not going to let that happen." Good for him.
Absolutely.
And those two guys vehemently disagree on a lot of subjects, but that was over the line, and he called it out, and I thought that was a good thing.
Absolutely. I saw that you even have reached out to, I guess, Dierks Bentley and the guys at Florida Georgia Line to talk about gun control.
I'm friends with all those boys.
Yeah, but I mean, you did it in a very productive way. Like, hey, I'm having this conversation. You didn't make fun of them, you didn't insult them. You said, I want to have a conversation.
And by the way, those artists are not, I don't want to speak for them, but I don't think they're anti-gun. I think what they're bringing up, if those things were enacted, have implications that maybe they haven't thought it all the way through, or maybe they have. That's why I wanted to talk to them about it and see what they know and why they think that's a good call. And maybe I'll learn something. Maybe I'll change my mind. But so far we haven't had that chat, and we probably won't. But that's why I'm not afraid to say things. It's okay to take a little heat every now and then. That's part of it.
Absolutely. Productive discussion is always good.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So the last question I have, and one of the things that a lot of military veterans that I've talked to, I mean, everyone knows that you care so strongly for the military. And one of the great things you do, as we talked earlier, is a huge percentage of the sales of this goes directly to Folds of Honor. So I want to ask you about Folds of Honor, how you got involved with it. And I know it's for, like you said, it's for families of military veterans who have deceased in the line of duty, correct?
Right. Yeah, so Folds of Honor was started by Major Dan Rooney. He's actually still an active Air Force fighter pilot to this day. He's still flying, probably was flying one today or is right now. He was flying a plane home and they were unloading the caskets. We've all seen those images of all the caskets rolling off the big C-130s, and they're draped in the American flag, and then they will fold those flags. And when they get through folding the flag, they walk over to the family and they present them the flag. He was watching that happen, and he was so struck by especially by the kids that he saw accepting the flag from their mother or their father that was killed in action. And he said, what can we do? It's one thing to say thank you for your service. It's quite another to do something about it. And he said, I just thought if we could do anything for that person, it would be to help take care of their family in a meaningful way. Well, educating them and getting them through college, or that spouse finally finishing that degree, whatever it is they didn't quite finish up because the other one was overseas. They help them get to that next level. Folds of Honor now has given out tens of thousands of scholarships. Redneck Riviera Whiskey, like I said last year, we just became one of their partners with it. And in our first year, 43 scholarships. This year, our goal is to go over 100 scholarships. I give 10% of the profits of every bottle of this stuff to Folds. Remember, I don't endorse Redneck Riviera, I own it. There's a big difference in those two things.
Absolutely.
I own the intellectual property rights to the phrase. I own the recipe that's in the bottle. I own all of it. So I get to determine if I want to stick my 10%, which I call tithe. I want to put my tithe wherever I want to put it. That's up to me to decide that. So I decided my tithe goes to the Folds of Honor.
Well, that's great. So if you want to help the military, buy this. Every bottle you buy, this is helping the military. So
I would say just to finish up, people ask me, well, how do we find your bottles? Because we're only 13, 14 months old. So we're not in every store, but we're in thousands of stores. It's really easy. You go to redneckriviera.com, and on the front page it says store locator. You click on that, put in your zip code, and boom, all the stores pop up. We're now in 44 states.
There you go. You actually beat me to that. I went on the website to look for that. I was going to say, I was going to give you a promo there.
It's a really easy way to find it.
It is, and I mean, there's a lot of beers. I'm like, where can I find this? They don't have it on their website. So go on, and what's the website?
redneckriviera.com.
Redneck, and if you can't spell, it's RIVIERA. But no, well, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for all your charitable contributions. And the biggest charity is hanging out with us. I mean, you're really making a commitment there. You're hanging out with me. It's like,
I feel the same way.
But we really appreciate you doing this for us, and thank you for everything you do. And yeah, keep tuned. And we'll hopefully have we have Governor Lee coming up soon, and we're hopefully going to Phil Vassar as well. But we appreciate John Rich. So thanks for everything, and we will see you next month.
Thank you.